It's time to continue our back to school video series with some dunks inspired by crayons. Check out these Nike Dunk High Premiums. These were nicknamed the Scribbles, and they were a part of the original back to school pack in 2008. This shoe was made for men, but most recently in December of 2014, Nike retroed this pair of shoes for kids. And of course, in true Nike fashion, they completely botched the release, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit about that. But first, let's start here with this pair of shoes. So I want to break out the box. It's a brown Nike sportswear box, a little bit beat up because I actually bought this pair of shoes from the UK, and the box got messed up in transit. But I want to tell you how I found this pair of shoes. So you can see right here, Nike Dunk High Premium, Sale Varsity Maize is the color, and then you've got the style number and color code down there. In order to find this pair of shoes, I used to go online on eBay and on Google and search for Scribble dunks, back to school dunks, Varsity Maize dunks, and I would search for the style number and color code. Now, ironically, there were a few different packs that featured Varsity Maize Dunk Highs, and for whatever reason, I couldn't seem to find them. Like, I'd have no problem finding all these other shoes in the packs, but not the Varsity Maize. There was a pack of Olympic Rings-inspired Dunk High Supremes, and the Varsity Maize one was the one that was escaping me. They made 6 different colors, and for whatever reason, the yellow one was tough to find. There was also a Nike SB pack focusing on Be True to Your School colleges that originally wore dunks. And for whatever reason, I couldn't find the yellow one. It was inspired by the University of Iowa. It was also Varsity Maize on the box. And so it was another Dunk High in Varsity Maize that I couldn't find. And when I was building the ShoeZeum, I can't tell you how many times I would search eBay and Google for Varsity Maize Dunk and look for any one of these 3 shoes. Eventually, I was able to find all of them, thankfully. So let's have a look at this grade school pair. Before we do, you know we're going to break out a big old bag of crayons. And I said that this pair of shoes was released by Nike in December and that they botched the release. So great story. Back in December of 2014, this pair of shoes was going to come out at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like nowadays, the releases are at 7 a.m., but just a year ago, the shoes were coming out at 5 in the morning, which means that if you're on the West Coast, you'd have to wake up at like 4:30 or 4:40, get your coffee brewing, get your computer set up, get your phone set up, get on all the websites, get on Twitter, wait for the link, and hope that you get lucky to buy the shoes. So I was up at the computer at about 4:50, and for no good reason at all, Nike postponed the release of this shoe. And they just sent out a tweet that was like, this shoe is coming out at another time. And they didn't even say when, and they didn't say why. And I was pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it's 4:50 in the morning. Did Nike just figure out right now that they can't launch the shoe? Highly unlikely. I'm sure they knew the night before, and for whatever reason, they don't care about the customer experience. So they just tell us at 4:50 in the morning when we're anxiously awaiting a link to buy this pair of shoes. To add insult to injury, at 6:30 in the morning, Nike.com sent an email out to everybody advertising this pair of shoes, that this shoe came out and click on this link to buy it. And of course, you would click on the link and the shoe was not available. And then if you went to NikeInsider.com, they were still advertising that the shoe released at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't. So I emailed Mark Parker, and I was like, Mark, and it was short and sweet. And I was like, Mark, this shoe was supposed to come out at 5 a.m. At 4:50, you guys tweet that it's not coming out. And then at 6:30, you send an email with a link to a shoe that didn't release. I'm like, what kind of incompetence is going on over at Nike.com? Like, how ridiculous. And he emailed me back and he was like, thank you for letting me know. Later on that day, I was out to lunch with my wife and I got a phone call and it came from Nike. 503-671-6453. I know that number. Whenever it pops up on my cell phone, I'm like, boom, it's Nike. I looked at my wife and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Nike. And I picked up the phone and this guy goes, hi, my name is Nathan, and Mark Parker asked me to call you to tell you that the shoe that you want is being re-released this afternoon, and he just wanted you to know that. And I was like, really? Thanks. And I got off the phone with him and I looked at my wife like dumbfounded and I was like, Mark Parker just had somebody call me to tell me that this pair of shoes is coming out. And actually I already knew that it was coming out because Nike retweeted later on that day that they were going to be re-releasing the shoe. Well, I guess they didn't retweet. By retweet, I mean they tweeted again. And they said, okay, we're going to release this shoe this afternoon. And then Nathan called me. So anyway, enough about the release of these shoes. I was very flattered that the CEO of Nike had one of his assistants call me to tell me that this shoe was launching. And I had to pick it up for my wife and also to add to the back to school exhibit. And I want to compare the grade school pair with the men's pair. So let's have a look. I'm going to bring this a little closer so we can see it. So there's the grade school pair, and it's very bright and vibrant, and the material that Nike used is leather or some type of leather, maybe pleather, but it's very like shiny and solid and firm, and the colors really pop. I mean, actually it almost resembles the wax that would come off of a crayon. When you compare the grade school pair to the men's pair, check this out. The men's pair is actually made out of canvas. Look, you can see it's like bright, vibrant, and leather on the kids. And then the men's pair is made out of canvas, and the colors are more dull, like almost like a tie-dye compared to the bright, vibrant colors on the grade school pair. And look, you can see it's made out of canvas. I love them both. I can't say that I like one better than the other, and actually I really like them when they're on display next to one another. Let's break them back out over here. Gotta love crayons, right? They bring you back. So there you have it, a comparison between the men's and the grade school Scribble Dunks. These aren't the only crayon-inspired shoes. We've got lots more crayon-inspired shoes to come. In fact, the next video will feature 3 pairs inspired by Crayola. See you soon.